I'm bagging this bitch!
Alright, hello there, Lanek here. Been some time since I posted a video. I figured since I had a lot of comments under one specific video build of mine, specifically the tank block damage build, so people were just basically complaining that the build is not working after the patch, that it's weak, to update it, fix it. And well, basically that's the whole idea I've been doing a couple of these days. I updated the build. I would say, yeah, the build definitely, I feel like, is a little bit stronger despite the heavy nerfs to enchants and even the low life tech. The damage is respectable. The tankiness, of course, is a little bit less. We're not going to be able to hit those insane numbers, like 90% of all resistances or even 100. Yeah, that's no longer going to be possible unless you're like super lucky and you hit a exaltation on 4 times exaltation on damage reduction based on durability. Then, yeah, maybe that will be possible. I have not tested it. I don't have the currency to actually grind to get 4 exaltation into one enchant, since I have not been playing this game actively a couple days now. But yeah, so far the build is very tanky. The damage is also quite insane for a tank, especially that considering the only thing we're actually doing is just standing in one place, AFKing. More so important that the build is very friendly, beginner friendly. You don't really need like maxed out enchantments or exalted items to make this build start working. You don't even need the unique shield that I'm using. If you get a enchantment on a shield that you deal damage on block, that would be also fine. But overall the build is very safe, beginner friendly, and most important, it's good for solo play because it's just safe. Wow, I almost died there. The worst enemy of this build is literally full damage. Our basic attacks are like nothing too special. The whole build is just based on block, nothing else, and maybe lightning damage with our rune static from our legendary, or I would even say unique. Yeah, we can call it just unique weapon. But yeah, the gameplay is basically you stand in one place and block the damage, nothing else. That's all you do. Yes, you do have to be careful with the builds. I'll just kill this guy. For example, if we were standing here near the cliff and we are blocking something, we are being pushed and we can get pushed off the cliff. So positioning on this build, I would say, pretty important where you stand, depending on the map you are. Because you would just die. Like, you can't do nothing if you fall outside the map. You're just dead. Right, and also, now that we are on the floor 10, we're gonna buff up, so we are even more tankier. We're gonna reset our static rune. And also, after we kill this guy, we're gonna test if the patch fixed him with the bug that we could before reset the Crucible Knight. But overall, yeah, this is the whole gameplay. You just stand there, block, you heal, and the guy can't honestly really do any damage. And our damage is pretty much respectable. It's not like insane or any fast. The build is definitely one of the slowest in the game, but we don't care about that. We are playing a tank. We want to be safe and not die. Hit, yeah. But that's fine, we will just fall back by doing literally nothing, holding one button. So in this fight, I prefer to stand near the next door, because the Crucible Knight like has an insane amount of knockback, and we might just die if we get pushed off the cliff. So yeah, that's the Crucible Knight for you. Very easy, very safe. Like, we literally did nothing there. So I'll just head back here and we're gonna see if they fixed it in the patch or not. Chamber complete, okay. I just buff up in case. If he does respawn. Pretty nice, because farming him actually was nice to do. Ah, they fixed it. Damn. Took them a while, but they fixed it. So, no more bug abuse in farming Crucible. That's a pity. So overall, I'll go over what we have on our gear. But first of all, I'll buff up to show you the full damage mitigation we have. So currently, I'm sitting at 75% resistance physical. We have 77 fire, 76 ice, and 79 lightning and plague. So it's still decent. So with these resistances, like, there's literally nothing able to one-shot us. Even from the Crucible Knight, if we are not blocking, we can still take like 2 or 3 hits before we actually start to panic. But overall, the build right now is using Tarnish Wands. Basically, I'm using this for the rune static, nothing else. I do hope in the future I might drop or find the rune by itself and get just a better wand. It does also, the wand also says damage resistance increased by 20% while unlighted, and we get unlighted while we apply shock. The problem with this is I've tested a couple versions by adding gems to the shield that we do lighting damage on block. The problem is we don't shock, either because the damage is too low or we are unable to shock with lighting damage on block. The static itself, even though it does lighting damage, doesn't apply shock. The only thing that we could do on this build to get that 20% resistance is with just our basic attacks. So the wand by itself is kind of useless when it comes to its enchantments. The only real thing I'm using is the rune static. Of course, the gem that I'm using is lifesteal, because why not? It's always nice to have some little bit more life recovery. Shield, of course, is the falset barricade. Basic stuff. You deal damage based on block. We want to increase that damage as high as possible. We also get 10% focus on block, so the more focus you have, the more you will get on block. And we just slap that with a gem, with the Motled Black Pearl, to increase the effects of our enchantments by 50%. It used to be 100. So far, we are lucky enough that the shield itself wasn't nerfed. It's basically still the same. It has the nice 25% damage on block, so that's nice to have. For your helmet, you're gonna want, of course, the gem that increases the enchant's effect. I went here with a face set Mystic. Don't really need it. You can have the helmet without any facets. But the enchants, you do want armor penetration, because with armor penetration you will do more damage with physical and lightning, because armor penetration does apply to physical damage types and elemental damage types. So also we are increasing our physical damage because our shield is doing physical damage. And we want stagger resistances, because the Crucible Knight basically does a lot of poise damage. Yeah, we want to block as much of its hits and combos as possible. Going further, our pants, the face that I have here is Frantic. Basically gives you 10% movement speed. It's really not needed. We are slow either way. The 10% doesn't really make a difference. Same stuff, the gem, because we are abusing the low life tech, increasing 50% of our enchantments. Of course, we still want as much armor penetration as possible to reach that 100%, progressing through the game. Physical damage to increase our damage on block and stagger resistance. Our gloves, gem, is the same stuff. With the enchants, we have armor penetration, physical damage. This one is quite important because it does work with our lifesteal. So healing increased by 19% based on current durability. So we kind of want gloves that have a lot of durability because that will basically scale our lifesteal a lot higher. So overall, it makes the tank build much safer. The body armor, face durable to increase the durability. We do have armor penetration, physical damage increase, damage resistance increased based on current durability, and durability increased. Now to abuse the low life tech, because I made a couple builds by now, and I most question I have how do I get under the 50% threshold. So you have the downside enchantment max health reduced by 20%. Most people think that this removes your life. Yes, it does remove your life, but it stores it. So, for example, currently I'm supposed to be at 520 life, but I'm at 250. So when I heal, I cannot get past that 250 life threshold because the downside of the reduced health is basically stored up. So with the gem, this enchantment is increased to 30%. So when we now go to our plague ring that has max health reduced by 22%, so we are currently sitting at a minus 52 life. So we reducing our life by 52%. To activate anything that works with low life, we need to be below 50%. So you need to be 49%. I have not read the whole patch, so I don't know if they fixed the bug. But the problem before was that even if you were 49% current life, so you were at 51% reduction, the low life did not work. You had to be at 48% of life, so you had to have a reduction of 52. Because I haven't read the patch, so I'm staying safe. I wasn't experimenting, so I just went with this ring instead to still be at the 52, just to be safe, so all my stuff works properly. So yeah, and your rings, I do have the rune ring, so our static does more damage, but the problem is I'm not sure if this works, to be honest. Well, I'm not sure. Basically, I do have a food that gives me 10% increased damage, for example. For some reason, this 10% increase damage doesn't apply to the static rune. I have no idea why. Only problem is I could test this right now and see. I do think it works, but I kind of at the same time don't think it works. I'll make a short cut to test it at the dummies later, and I'll confirm it. But currently I'm using the ring. Next we have the plague ring to just have low life tech applied, and we get the 20% life steal. And finally, we do have the snake ring, which we deal 25% damage on block. We do lose stamina, but really we don't care about that. So that 25% damage on block is also physical damage. So all these enchants increased physical damage, increase the damage of this ring. Uh, Further, to increase our tankiness, you just want to grab yourself a potion that gives you damage reduction. This applies to sorry about that. This applies to all resistances and it gives you poise also. So without that, I'm sitting at 71%. Yeah, with this, it goes up to 75 physical and other stuff like I showed you before. Right, so now with our attributes. So I went with 60 life. We are a tank, we want as much life as possible. especially if we are abusing the low life tech. Yeah, we want as much life as possible. Going further down, 40 faith, so our static rune does a little bit more damage. 16 focus, so we hit that 200 focus points. And I have 1 point into equip load. For some reason I'm at 100%, but I'm still heavy. So if you need to like put 1 more point here, I would just drop a point from faith or health, to be honest. So yeah, overall that's the build, that's the updated version. Honestly, you can start this build even at the campaign if you get a nice shield and slowly starting building up your tankiness. Also, I do have a Discord channel for Witch Warriors. Feel free to join if you have any questions. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Right, so I have just now confirmed that our rune ring does not work with our static rune. So it's a bug. Static is literally a rune skill, and it should have the increase of damage. Does not have the increase of damage. So I'm just gonna make a small cut again and buy a more useful ring. So I'll see you guys shortly. Alright, so after some testing, I figured honestly the best option will be the Serendipity ring. Yeah, basically just increases our healing. We can of course increase the enchant further, but overall this will make us heal more and we are going to be tankier. Of course, if early on you're struggling and you're not going to be able to get this ring from the Crucible Knight, yeah, you can just get the Stone Tusk ring that increases your armor. It will still provide a lot of tankiness with physical resistances, but overall these two rings I would recommend. We could try, of course, this ring to see if we are going to be doing more damage on block, but that's not going to still work with our static. And the block by itself does quite some decent damage. This ring is completely pointless, because even if we are going to be doing more damage with block, we're going to be taking 25% more damage, and we don't want to take more damage than is needed. But just to quickly see, so the buff that should pop up under our character on the left side does not show up. Now I'm not blocking, so the buff activates. So in order to activate this buff on the ring, you would literally need to get hit first, and then block to have that damage increase. So overall, I would recommend the Stone Tusk ring early on, and then when you start farming Crucible Knight, just to get this ring that increases your healing. And yeah, so for now the build is honestly complete. We have even more healing than before. Of course, we do have a nice rune on this build that I will showcase the damage of. And we are tank. We are tank. We have 0 investment into crit, bonus crit, or lightning damage, and we're almost doing 2000 with a rune attack. So the build is very, very strong. Right guys, so that will be it with the video, and I'll see you probably in last epoch, because yeah, I'm waiting for the full release of the game for the patch 1.0. I just wanted to update the tank build, so I'll see you guys in the next video.